British graffiti artist Banksy's
Every single day I fight another war. Every single night I feel more powerful. Oh, this is what it takes to live in my way so far. Oh, take me as I am.
Banksy. A cryptid-like artist who once in a blue moon marked his presence in a form of a stencil graffiti. Love him or hate him, his status as an iconic British street artist is undeniable. His real identity remains a mystery to the public after all these years, and as we all know, people are keen on unmasking anonymous figure just for the sake of it. Many theories have emerged about Banksy's identity. Some are more convincing than others. Of course, I, being a premium garbage Gorillaz stan, am very attached to one theory. Banksy is none other than Jamie Hewlett himself. You might already raise your eyebrows a bit, but this theory does have quite a solid foundation at one glance. However, on second glance, you can see that the foundation is one wind gust away from falling apart. Well, let's just head into the rabbit hole that is the Jamie Hewlett Banksy conspiracy. This whole theory was popularized in 2018, but some people in the past have pointed out Jamie and Banksy's peculiar relationship. A 2004 post from Gorillaz News on LiveJournal documented Reject False icons appearing on Pictures on Walls shop in London. Pictures on Walls being a company hosting various authentic street artist artwork, including Banksy and Jamie, and Reject False Icons was Gorillaz' campaign slogan around this era. In 2015, a Reddit user named Rinzi posted some interesting connections between the two artists on Gorillaz subreddit. First, Banksy's art appeared in Tomorrow Comes Today music video on the 53 seconds mark. The art itself was one of the earlier famous Banksy artwork, but I've read conflicting reports about the year it was made. Some said it was from 2000, which makes sense since Tomorrow Comes Today was released on that year, while others said 2002, which means Jamie got a very suspicious early access of Banksy's artwork.
This video is presented by
Banksy's
Game Changers.
Second is Banksy's designated graffiti area art. Just a mere 25 days after the art was unleashed to the world, this particular graffiti showed up. The last one, and probably the most famous one, is Blur's Think Tank album art that was confirmed to be Banksy's art. You know who's the vocalist in Blur? Damon Albarn. And who is his new artistic bestie that collaborated with him for a giant project? Jamie Hewlett. Coincidence? I think not! One Reddit user even warned people to stop discussing it before it was all figured out. Spooky. Flash forward to 2018 and the Metro UK posted an article on the 10th of April titled Forensic Expert Believes Banksy is Gorillaz founder Jamie Hewlett. Said forensic expert wished to remain anonymous because, and I quote, he might get hate mail for unmasking him.
I have to laugh, I'm sorry.
In all fairness, he did provide quite a strong evidence. You see, in 2010, Banksy released a documentary movie called Exit Through the Gift Shop. That movie was produced by Paranoid Pictures, which also shares the same name as another one of Banksy's art. This company is owned by Pest Control Office, aka the agency responsible for authentic Banksy art, which is owned by Pictures on Walls Limited. You know who shares the biggest stakeholder in that company? None other than Jamie Hewlett himself. Dun dun dun! Illuminati has been confirmed. Jamie is indeed Banksy. The earth is collapsing.
It's Britney, bitch.
All these infos are available publicly on Companies House, a UK database for company information. But if you don't want to search through all that, Jamie being the biggest shareholder is also mentioned on the book Banksy, The Man Behind the Wall, available on Internet Archive, and a picture of the legal document is available on a 2020 documentary, Banksy Most Wanted. Also mentioned in the Banksy book is Jamie's $278 limited edition vibrator line, which is a rabbit hole for another day. Another bit of fun fact is that before the company went defunct in 2017, an old archive of Pictures on Walls website showed that Jamie's bio was, Jamie invented the pin-up cartoon Tank Girl before selling out to Hollywood and losing all his credibility. His idiot side project, the Gorillaz, dumbfounded everyone when they sold 5 million albums worldwide. Hashtag stay humble, guys. Other than the stakeholder info, the article also mentioned an alleged Banksy sighting in Israel, and the guy apparently, according to the forensic expert, looks like Jamie Hewlett.
Let me ask the audience.
When contacting Banksy's publicist regarding all this stuff, they replied, "I can confirm that Jamie Hewlett is not the artist Banksy." Well guys, sadly, that's the end of this. Wait a damn minute. Notice the spelling on their statement. Jamie Hewlett. E and I is very far away in keyboard. Of course Banksy is not Jamie Hewlett, but they didn't deny that he isn't Jamie Hewlett. As if that isn't damning enough. In a 2020 Damon and Jamie Reddit AMA, when asked if they're Banksy, Jamie said no comments. Hey guys, sorry for the horrible audio quality. I left my microphone at home, but upon editing this video, I found out about this incredibly crucial information that I don't think anyone has mentioned before. Basically, in 2006, Paris Hilton announced her upcoming album, and Banksy was so baffled that he decided to create a bunch of fake Paris Hilton CDs and put it on the store shelves. The artwork of the album booklet was really similar to the celebrity heads in Rocket music video, and the text that Banksy put kinda alluded to Reject False Icons. The fake album itself was produced by, get ready for this, Danger Mouse himself, which if you are a Gorillaz stan or I don't know, just enjoy music as an art form, definitely will recognize as the producer of Demon Days. Banksy, your days are outnumbered, I know what you are. Back to the video. I see through your tricks, Jamie. Or should I say, Mr. Banksy himself. Is there any objections? Well, unfortunately, reality isn't as enticing as fantasy. Banksy is not Jamie Hewlett. It's quite obvious if you just look at their art with your eyes and see how their works barely shares any similarities. Even Jamie's realistic silhouette stencil-like drawing looks really different compared to Banksy's artwork. Trust me guys, no artist is that good at masking their actual art style. However, this might be a very subjective proof, so let's just stick with solid, objective facts. In the aforementioned Banksy book, it's confirmed that Banksy was introduced to Damon and Jamie shortly after his move to London from his hometown Bristol, which was on 1999. Jamie, however, already lived together with Damon at London in 1997, shortly after Damon's infamous breakup with Justin Frischman. There's even a picture taken around the time of the moving in which Damon was still a Britpop pretty boy hot, instead of your friend's overworked dad kind of hot. Regarding Jamie owning the biggest share for pictures on walls, this can be easily explained with the fact that Jamie was fucking rich thanks to Gorillaz. The data was taken in 2005, in which Gorillaz released their hit single Feel Good Inc., which peaked at number 14 on Billboard Top 100, which means holy shit, Gorillaz was pulling crazy profits in that year. Clint Eastwood, as a comparison, peaked at number 57, which was still a great number, but it's clear that Feel Good Inc. was the bigger singing ATM machine with no sign of stopping. With his stacked cash, he probably decided to buy the majority of Pictures on Wall's share. I feel like those two are the biggest disproven claims, but let's also unravel the rest of the supposed proof. Banksy suddenly willing to accept Damon's commission for Think Tank's album cover might be very suspicious, since Banksy stated that he disliked commercial work. But I don't know guys, maybe Banksy is a bit of a Damon Albarn stan. I don't blame him honestly. I don't think Damon is exactly as commercial as Nike, you know. Gorillaz graffiti in this United Graffiti area is obviously not Jamie's handwriting. For comparison, here's an actual Gorillaz graffiti made by Jamie. Unsurprisingly, it looks like Gorillaz logo because, you know, Jamie made the Gorillaz logo. And finally, the supposed Jamie sighting in the video. Bestie, in what world does this person looks like Jamie Hewlett? He wouldn't be caught dead wearing that Bratz fedora. This guy was revealed to be a British artist living in Israel named James Ames. So very high quality forensic analysis there guys. The typo in Banksy's publicist statement can be explained with Banksy and Jamie wanted to see the world burn. Or maybe the publicist made a genuine typo. What a shocker. Okay, so if you're here just for a normal video of debunking Banksy is Jamie Hewlett theory, then congrats! Video is over. Like and subscribe everyone, thank you! However, I have something new to offer. What if, in spite of all this paradox, Jamie Hewlett is actually Banksy this whole time? Assuming that their career just went the same as in the timeline that we currently live in, what implications it would bring to the table? At the beginning of their career in the 90s, the Jamie and Banksy theory kinda makes sense. Jamie isn't outspoken politically, but I can see him secretly having some sort of an alt account in the form of Banksy to spread his actual political belief. As what we know in the public, they didn't contradict each other either. I think the most questionable part in terms of their career in this era is that Jamie drew a lot of dicks. I mean a lot of dicks. It's a little bit suspicious that Banksy would draw this much dicks in his spare time, but in all fairness, the dicks wasn't drawn in a horny way. It's the equivalent of middle school boys drawing dick doodles on their notebook. This theory, however, started to crack a little bit once Gorillaz took over Jamie's life. In Phase 2, Gorillaz gained a lot of popularity for reasons we've discussed before. They became one of the most talked about musicians in the mid-2000s. You might be thinking, oh, is this the part where you think Jamie betrayed Banksy's ideology because he was swayed by the popularity of Gorillaz, therefore he cannot be Banksy? No, not at all. Let's talk about mid-2000s fandom. 2005 fandoms were vastly different from current fandoms, to say the least. It was more wild west back then, both in positive and negative way. One thing that didn't change throughout the Gorillaz fandom history is that Murdoch and 2D were favored by the girlies audience. Or in modern scholars' term, they are Tumblr sexy men. It's no surprise that these two were often the roots of major political conflict in the Gorillaz fandom this time. From simpler things such as arguing which one is better, or straight up harassing the winner of an official Gorillaz art contest because they didn't draw their beloved husbando 2D the way they actually wanted on their art submission. It was sort of messy in a simpler way than fandom discourse nowadays. This was an uncharted territory for Jamie, as his previous works did not have huge female following like Gorillaz. Thankfully, he managed to get away from the dramas and just let Gorillaz forum manager handle the horror of powerful teenage girls with unrestricted internet access. But he did know some tidbits of the fandom. In 2008, Gorillaz Unofficial arranged an interview with Jamie Hewlett and they asked, fan Mind the Gap wanted to know if you have an opinion on Gorillaz slash. For context, slash is basically an old internet term for gay ships. Slash? What is that? The concept is explained. People actually do that with Gorillaz characters? I've never come across anything like that before. What do I think of it? Pauses. Well, I don't really have an opinion. If people want to do that, then it's okay, I suppose. Maybe if I thought about it a long time, I might be able to come up with an opinion. Does sound like some people have too much time on their hands. No, I think that was a relatively decent answer for Jamie. I feel like the person that gave this question might want him to be cursed out because, man kissing man, bad. This is 2008 after all, but the fact that Jamie just felt indifferent about it made it much more funnier. However, we must acknowledge that if Jamie is Banksy in this universe, then Banksy also knew about Gorillaz ships. A DT in British art community actually had some knowledge about 2008 Gorillaz yaoi. Do you see why this theory have a very sussy implication now? Phase 3 didn't really have much things to point out. Murdoch is fully clothed 99% of the time, despite that this phase would have been the best phase for him to be fully naked. And 2D unsurprisingly also wears clothes. The internet, however, is transitioning. The rise of Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook had led more people to create a social media account of their own, including Jamie Hewlett. He was quite active on his Twitter, with iconic tweets such as "just saw man jogging," big smug face, showing off his physical prowess, didn't realize his testicle was hanging out of his short shorts, still can use Twitter on my mobile phone, defeats the object of writing your thoughts if you have to carry a laptop around, can't even connect my Instagram to Twitter. Arrgh! Been trying to connect from my phone to Twitter for days. Boring! Fuck this shit. If anyone wants to follow me on Instagram, my name is Hul. And he proceeded to post on Instagram more afterwards. Whatever Jamie's social media preference is, it's certain that he has a more direct interaction with Gorillaz fans, for better or for worse. Especially if you consider that in this realm, Jamie Hewlett is Banksy. There's nothing suspicious about Banksy seeing Gorillaz fan art, but Banksy reading a comment from fans on his page about how much they want to ride Murdoch's cock? Yeah, that is quite sussy if you ask me. Not too long after, we have phase 4 of Gorillaz, and I have some thoughts. Murdoch was naked in this phase, cocks out and all, but his nakedness in Saturn's bars feels like just another haha naked man joke. What I wanted to question is a trend in new Murdoch art from Jamie. It might be too subtle for regular people to see this pattern, but for some unknown reason, Jamie bimbofied Murdoch Nichols. Seriously, this is the only phase where Murdoch's body is depicted with such beefy butts, and for what, Jamie? Do you really want to satisfy the dark, twisted fantasy of Murdoch enjoyers in this phase? I mean, I'm not complaining, but why is Banksy, of all people, trying to push Murdoch's abs agenda? Another Jamie new art trend is what I'd like to call the yassification of 2D, complementary. He's still a masculine character, but from time to time, 2D is drawn in a relatively feminine style, at least compared to the previous 3 phases. I think this particular picture is the first days of his fashion change because for the first time ever, he got his nails done. As time goes on, it was more than nails, and eventually 2D having pretty eyelashes and associated with pink isn't really out of the ordinary. He's giving Harry Styles a run for his money as the monarch of gender non-conforming singer.
Charlie XCX, snatch my wig!
Some fans dislike this change, and I just want to say that people who dislike feminine 2D are losers. Get a job? Stay away from her? But that's a topic for another day. For now, we must focus again on the person behind this move. None other than Banksy himself. And boy, it's not even his most sassy move. In October 2018, a well-known Banksy piece named A Girl with a Balloon was sold at an auction house for $1.4 million. Just as people celebrated the sale, however, the painting passed through a secret shredder in the picture frame. It was quickly revealed that Banksy was the mastermind of the act, proven by a behind-the-scenes video of him a few years ago making the elaborate shredder posted on his Instagram. It must be quite long to wait for the painting to be put in auction, so what did Banksy do in the meantime?
A river in a dry land, the left is in a lost land, a heartbeat for demons, a waves in a strange land.
There was no punchline to this video. It's just 2D with his smooth slim legs and perky butt. And you're telling me that Banksy, the shredded stunt mastermind, was also drawing sexy twink asses in the same year? Sure, Banksy has drawn men kissing in his work, but that was clearly a protest artwork and not, blue-haired twink with pronouns getting destroyed in booty shorts.
Tight as a virgin, boy, don't get nervous.
Jamie Hewlett drawing sexy twink I can handle just fine, but Banksy drawing sexy twink is like a chimp with a machine gun. What the hell am I right? The Jamie Banksy theory, if true, holds such a powerful implication. The mysterious hooded figure knows a thing or two about Gorillaz gay ships. The British cryptid at one point decided that Murdoch needed to appeal more to the female gaze. Banksy pushing the agenda of 2D's beautiful legs and ass was a powerful move that says something about the society that we lived in. As Karl Marx once said, anti-establishment street artists by day, Tumblr sexy men enjoyers by night.